Now, we'll go on to the fourth principle. And the fourth principle has to really do with what I call awakened values. And awakened values are not at all the same as moral values. We all know or have been taught certain moral values. Do this, do that. That isn't good. That isn't right. That's wrong to do. Other things are good to do. We've all been taught certain moral values, but not just moral values. We've also been taught things in life to value, like being ahead of the other guy, being more successful than someone else, acquiring. We've been taught that to acquire is a high value, especially in American society. To acquire is a very high value. To acquire more stuff, more money, more experiences, to acquire beauty or to try to hang on to it, is a great value in Western culture. So different cultures have different values, different things they value, and also different moral values. But awakened values are not really based in morality. They're not based in should or shouldn't. Awakened values are values that are inherent within conscious spirit. When you and I wake up to our true nature as conscious spirit, we also start to become aware of awakened values. What spirit really values, not as a new set of moral values, because that's not what I'm speaking about, but values in the sense of what does spirit hold as valuable? What does spirit hold as valuable? This is very important because if we don't realize what spirit holds as valuable, all we'll be left with is what ego holds as valuable. What we've been taught and told is valuable. Not only morally valuable, but valuable in terms of life and what one is supposed to do in life and what one is supposed to inquire and how we move in life. Because, of course, every human being, the way they move in life, how they act, is completely dictated by what they value. So, as a contrast, egos value things like competition, being understood, being loved. Some egos value having control. Some egos value being a victim. Some egos value being a victimizer. Some egos value blame and judgment and condemnation. Ultimately, what ego values more than anything else is separation. All of the ego's values are values that are based in separation and continue separation. But awakened values are something quite different. Awakened values are inherent within conscious spirit. They are there to be found and they are there to be discovered. Those values are things like truthfulness. Truth is a great value that is within conscious spirit. To be in truth, to be truthful. Unity is something else that the awakened view holds as valuable, because unity is a truth. The truth is there is only ultimately one. All this diversity we see, and there is great diversity and great uniqueness, but underlying it, the essence of all of it, is conscious spirit. Conscious spirit is what everything is. Spirit is what everything is. Spirit is what's expressing itself. When you look around you, what you're really seeing is the expressions of ineffable spirit. That's what you're seeing. No matter what you see, no matter what you experience, it's really a manifestation of spirit. And spirit is one. There's nothing that's not an expression, a manifestation of spirit. It may be conscious, it may be very unconscious, but either way it's an expression of spirit. So awakened spirit conscious spirit values this oneness. It values unity. It values freedom. Conscious spirit is free. So it values freedom, not for oneself, but for all beings everywhere. Conscious spirit values peace, gratitude, love. These are just some of the values that are inherent within the truth of our being. And this is really the great good news of spirituality. The good news is that at the essence of who and what we are, there is a deep and fundamental goodness. Not the goodness that we've been taught, not like morally good, as opposed to morally bad, but something deeper, a goodness which is inherent in what we are. That doesn't mean that when you awaken to yourself as conscious spirit, that you'll become some sort of saint. Because all the ideas we have about awakening actually are distortions about what it really is. So we really need to let go of not only all of our ideas about ourselves, but our ideas about spiritual realization, enlightenment, spiritual awakening. All those have to be let go of as well, so that we can find out what's the truth, what's the reality of what we are. And by discovering these values inherent within consciousness, within conscious spirit, you become connected with the way that spirit manifests itself. When you begin to realize that you are spirit, and then even deeper you begin to really become conscious of the values, what spirit holds as valuable, it transforms your whole way of being in the world. It transforms your whole way of relating, of existing, of the way you move through your day. Because then the values in spirit guide you, not as something external idea, something external to yourself that you're trying to become, but actually they are already inherent in what we are. And that's the great good news. And that discovery is something that is also a great good news. So these are the four basic principles of the teaching. In the next video, in the video number 2, which is called the application of the teachings, I'll talk about how these principles that I've just discussed, how you apply them in terms and in ways in which the teaching is used as a catalyst to realize these four basic principles. In other words, to come to your own realization, your own recognition, your own awakening of your true nature as conscious spirit. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to encourage you to look at this next video about the application of the teaching, because it's very important that these principles just don't remain as ideas in anyone's head, but they're actually applied, that there's actually some way in which we can, in a very practical way, utilize the teachings so that they help you to awaken from the egoic state of consciousness to your true state as conscious being. I want to thank you for joining me, and as always, be well and enjoy yourself.